Do you know when you really think you've got the concept of something and it goes completely wrong? This is what's happened to me. I didn't check what this pipe was before I started bending it. And it has bit me in the ass hard. So we're going to talk about these 3 different pipes. And they might look the same, but they are completely different. So let's talk about that. So first off, let's talk about this pipe and what's different and what you should be using for your particular project. So this is the stuff I ended up buying. This is a nickel plated copper. And as you can see, I struggled with this quite a lot. This is what I've put in the car at the moment, and I'm going to be pulling it all out because it is the wrong stuff. And by me saying wrong stuff, what I actually mean is it was the wrong stuff for me because I'm using a plastic bender and I don't have the right way of actually getting this to bend nice and tightly without kinking it. So we have to use a different type of tubing, and that's where the aluminium and stainless steel come into the picture. And as you can see there, it is kinked that pipe right in the middle of that bend, and that is obviously not good. So now let's see what the stainless steel, and that is this pipe here. This is the one I would prefer to use, but we also got aluminium. So let's see the difference between these 2 things and how they bend. Now, as you can see, the stainless steel did bend a lot better, but still at 180 degrees, we did get a slight kink. I don't know if this is my tools. The plastic benders seem to have a bit of play in it, so it could be that, but it wasn't working, so we moved on to the aluminium. And this seemed to be the winner. I mean, the aluminium just seems to bend better, it looks good, and at the same time, it's still strong. So this is the one we've decided to go with for the power steering lines on the car. All right, so we got all the pipe in front of us. Let's have a look how we went. Aluminium came out amazing, really easy to bend. Didn't have to put my knee into it or anything, so it's the clear winner out of the lot. Next, we got the stainless steel. Probably if I took my time bending that a bit slower, it would have come out a lot better. I reckon it would have come out like this. This is the standard steel that the Mitsubishi Magna came with. That came out all right. The next one is the copper, and as you can see, that's just a complete fail. But if you look next to it, if we annealed the pipe, which is hitting the pipe up, it will give you a really nice bend. The only problem with doing this is you burn the nickel away, so it's not going to be as strong. So realistically, these are out. This worked well, but I don't have that pipe. The stainless steel probably would have been okay if we're not bending crazy, but the aluminium is it's just killing it. It came out so good. So that's what we're going to stick with. We're going to redo the whole lot in aluminium. So let's get to it. And this should be a lot easier because I've already done it once with harder stuff. So we'll see how we go. So now that we've figured out what tube we're using, we're heading over to the car and undoing everything. Now, for you guys at home that are watching, I've actually got something very special to put on top of this engine, something new in this area. So keep watching because that is going to be exclusive to you guys. Anyway, now that we've got all this out of the way, we need to take off the engine mount, which means, I need to probably support the engine somehow. I mean, it's got 3 on there. Yeah, we'll start cracking off and see what happens. But yeah, something new is going in this space. Now, engine mounts are usually quite a pain in the ass to get out. And what can make it harder is having an unsafe work environment. So make sure you have nothing in the way of you. It's pretty easy to see that would make my life a lot easier if I had just put in that jack stand underneath the engine. Now, if you ever do have to lift the engine and you have to lift it by the sump, which I highly recommend you don't, but if you do, either get a large piece of wood or a large piece of aluminium like I'm using, so you spread out the weight evenly so you don't squash anything. So the first thing we're going to do is start bending this up. Now, I was going to try and use this. This is hydraulic line and it is too thick. I pretty much almost broke my back trying to actually put flares on here, and it's not good. So I have gone and got some of this stuff. As you see, it's coiled and we want it straight. So you need to get yourself one of these. And you can see it's coiled up and I've got this thing on here. What this does is strain the pipe out, which is what we need to do. So you just apparently keep doing this. Ugh. And you'll strain it out. I mean, yeah, that works. So now that we're going to get this straight, then we're going to start doing a couple of different types of flares and then trying to bend it up to match the original pipe. But obviously we're going to change a couple of things so it goes behind the intercooler. First time doing this, so wish me luck. This looks like an action that probably shouldn't be on the internet. Oh, anyway. And there you go, we've gone full circle, and just look how happy I am undoing all that work that I did. But this is a lesson learned. You know, you really need to do your research before you just start chucking things in. I was trying to get done by the weekend because I wanted to drive the car, and look, here I am, pulling it back out. At least it was an expensive thing, and it's an easy fix. But learn from my mistake. Always do your research, even when you think you know what you're doing. Now on the upside, it's going to be a much better job, so let's get on to that. If anyone actually wants this, I will send it to you for free. As long as you're within Australia. But yes, you can have these lines that I spent hours on for your own personal project. Now, I'm going to start this over here. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is hopefully a good reason, but I think let's try and bend it into the car might be a problem. So what I'm going to do, because I've already bent it up, I'm going to use this to work out the distance. Yep. I'm going to add a little bit extra, and I'm going to start bending it here, and then I'm going to take it over to the car and chuck it in. So wish me luck. Unlike last time, I'm starting with the hardest bit, the 180-degree bend. And as you can see, I just knocked this straight out of the park. Now, another thing you need to know is when you do 180 degrees, your benders can get jammed up a little bit. All you gotta do is just flex the pipe a little bit and it will pop right out. Then I head over to the car and I start marking it with a pen where I need to bend it at 90 degrees. The beautiful part of doing that is now I can work my way back to the pump and the reservoir. Great success. Well, there you go. We've got the shape pretty much spot on now. I mean, there's a little touches here and there to do just to get it perfect. And I'm probably going to polish this up a little bit as well, which I'll show you guys how to do. But as you can see, we had to do this 45 to 45, then 45 to 45 to go around the engine mount. Otherwise, I just would have made it nice and straight. We're going to put an end on this so we don't have hose blowing off. As you can see, I've done this one and I haven't kinked it, but I've definitely deformed it a little bit. So that's something you've got to be wary of, that you leave enough to use whatever you're using. I'm using this. This is a flaring block, but also does bubbles, which I will show you what they are. I don't know why they call it a bubble though. If someone could tell me, that'd be interesting. But anyway, let's start chopping this, clean it up, and put it in this thing, and put it back on the car. As you guys saw, I'm using a hacksaw to cut the pipe, which is no good leaving it like this for flaring. Now, some people would use the tube cutters, but for me, I'm going to go over and I'm going to sand this down flat on the bench grinder. Then what I'm going to do is focus on this outer deburrer to clean the outer edges, and then move on to an inner deburrer to clean the inner side. This gets it nice and ready for that bubble flare. Now for the fun part, making the actual flare. See, as you can see, we got the pipe in there and we're using station 0 to get everything nice and flush in the flaring block itself. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn this knob so we can get it into station 1. And this is the station where we're going to make our bubble flares. So this is for making double flares, but the trick to this is not to press it all the way in. Just press it in about 60%. It's a bit of trial and error, so make sure you test it out before you commit to your main piece. This should go without saying. You're going to have to clean the pipe somehow, and what I'm using, as you can see, is high pressure water and high pressure air. Clean those burrs out with water and then using the air to blow out all the water. Well, now that I'm wet in the pants, I move over to the rivet gun. We need to add some extra brackets for the power steering line because obviously the factory stuff isn't going to work anymore. Of course, this means drilling into your metal, and when you drill into the metal, you should be putting some paint or something over the metal so you reseal it. Once that's done, I put the rivet serd in and then finish it off with some stainless steel screws.
Alright, so it's the last one we got to do right here. And I have nicked one of these. Now, by the way, I'll be replacing all of these with new ones, but this is just to get everything in the right spot. So I reckon about there. But I think we should get a level on this and see if we're even close to being straight.
Now, I shouldn't have to explain why you need to make sure that your car is level before using a level to make something level. But anyway, that's the go. The car is on jack stands. She's nice and straight. So when I found my happy place, I then get the drill bit, drill a hole, put a riv nut in there, and that is ready to go.
So you guys can now buy this from these guys for your 6G74 single overhead cams. He will supply them. Look at that. First in production, built full R1 Turbo Magna. How cool is that? Let's fit it on here. Oh, bro. There's air picket. How much easier is it going to be to get to everything now? Oh, mate, that thing is epic. Alright, we've got to get the top on and see what this looks like. It's a shame that I can't just have it like that. That looks amazing. But anyway, let's check this out. Bro. Wow, that's sick. So we're going to have to modify the front this to get the throttle body around. But you know what, I think that's going to fit. I do have to drop this bit. Oh, I mean, it's just touching right there. But man, I mean, we're talking real close. Far out. It could. No, I might be able just to move the top of the bonnet there, but damn, that's gonna be so cool, guys. Look at it. So heaps of room everywhere else, just that little bit there. I'm like very happy. I mean, the manifold could even go down a little bit if I wanted to, but I mean, that is just so cool. What a weapon. Anyway, the power steering line, look at it. That came out pretty good, nice and straight, not touching anything. There you go, get this out of the way, there you go. And the next thing I want to do is, when I put the bigger turbo on, is probably change this turbo manifold up a bit, but I mean, it's working for now. We're getting there, guys, we're getting there. For all you guys still here, still watching, thank you so much. This is the end of this episode. I just thought I'd put this little clip in here so you guys can see why I'm doing these upgrades. It's to get over 300 kilometers per hour. Please share, like, subscribe, and if you comment, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much again. See you on the next one.